This is Natural Powerlifting Radio. Deadlifts, chicken nuggets, video games. This is Check My Total, a powerlifting podcast with Timothy Payne and Andrew Hinson.
Welcome to another episode of Check My Total. We have a special guest with us. We have Mr. Jon Allen. Say hello, Jon.
What's up, guys?
Oh, man. Well, Jon goes back a long ways for us, especially for Timmy over here. But, Jon, why don't you give us just a little background about yourself, a little intro.
All right. My name is Jon Allen. I am 26 years old. I live in Spruce Pine, North Carolina. I own a gym. I've been the owner of a gym. Well, I've owned the gym since April 1st, 2017. Before that, I worked there for about 3 years before I took over. Started powerlifting whenever I was 18, and been doing that ever since.
Wait, are you really 26?
Yeah, I'm 26, dude.
Whoa, I thought you were younger. Man, you're getting old.
Yeah, I know.
I thought you were like 24, 25 maybe. Wow, 26.
I was at one time, but not anymore.
Oh, man. And you're married now.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
goodness.
He's 26, Andrew.
Wow, and you own a gym, man. It's like you're an actual adult now.
I know, it feels weird. I don't know what to do.
Oh, my goodness. So, how did you get to own this gym?
Well, I became a member of the gym. It's the only gym in Spruce Pine. So I joined whenever I was 18, and it was more or less my second home from the moment I joined. And some things happened, and I was in school at the time, and I was going to be a physical therapist assistant, but I always wanted to be a personal trainer. That's like the one thing I wanted to do. And the people who were working in the gym at the time, they got in some trouble. And okay. Yeah, so some of them got sent off. But the next morning after that, the owner of the gym, Jason Hobson, he called me and offered me a job. So I basically dropped everything I was doing to jump in and, run the gym and do the whole personal training thing. Kind of took it on a long shot because I didn't really know. I didn't really have any plans. I had plans at that point, but I didn't know much, where I was actually going to head with that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of dove in and went with it, and then things progressed, and I ended up getting into a position to where I could buy it from Jason, so I did it.
Nice.
That's where we're at now.
All right.
On top of being a gym owner, you're also an Iron Boy Powerlifting Elite Lifter in the 198 class.
Yeah.
Andrew forgot to mention that part.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, of course. Of course, we got an elite lifter. Let's see. Yeah, what's your best stuff in a competition, Jon? Is it still October? Is that the most recent one?
Yeah,
October, did you do another one?
Yeah, I haven't competed since then.
I haven't either.
I squatted 520, benched 360, and pulled 620, so it was 1,500 on the dot.
Oh, nice. That's a solid total.
Got to grow.
What else you got planned? You got any competitions coming up, or you just kind of like training, just kind of seeing how things going?
Honestly, I have been so busy with the business side of things recently that I haven't really thought about competing. I'm still training. I've hit a ton of gym PRs. My numbers are really going up. I've let myself gain a little bit of weight too. I'm walking around at about 207 right now.
Oh man.
Oh, hey now.
When you lift in the 198, you usually weigh in at like 193.
Yeah, that happens. That happens to me.
I say 207. That's up there for you.
I'm a whole lot heavier than I have been recently, but I plan on hitting. I'll probably be like a light 220 next time I compete. I plan on competing 220 at about 205 because I'm gonna go after that elite total right there. I think I can probably knock it off next.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
Either that, I either want to do that or 198 in sleeves. I would like to hit 1500 in sleeves. That's my two goals right now in my mind. But
Hey, there you go.
So I know you said you started lifting when you were 18, but how exactly did you get into powerlifting?
well, I started competing whenever I was 18, but I started lifting when I was 10. This is actually a pretty fun story. It's a lot like Keith's story. Making do with what you have, which someday you're going to have to get him on here and just talk to him. That is my suggestion.
Well, expand on your story. Give us a little story
All right,
time.
so I was 10 years old. I was always a fat kid. Like, I was just a very fat kid. I mean, still am, but like
207.
yeah,
207.
man, I breathe hard whenever I stand up and everything else. But no, I just always had an obsession with strong people, and just I don't know what it was. It was just something weird, and anybody that was like jacked, I thought that was just like the coolest thing ever. I thought, like the people whose biceps filled out their sleeves, I thought, man, they've just got life figured out. So that was my thought process whenever I was younger. I just thought like that's what it's about right there. But I had these old cement weights that had the plastic cover on them. I don't know if you guys remember those or have ever seen those.
Oh yeah.
But my dad had a bunch of those laying around, and I found an old steel pipe, and it had these messed up like old collars that you had to have a socket wrench to tighten and loosen. It had like a bolt that went down through the side of it.
Yeah.
And those weights, they were like the weirdest numbers ever. They were like 17 pounds and like 9, just all these weird poundages and everything. And it wasn't in kilos either, but like just what they weighed. And so I got that steel pipe, and I found that I could fit 50 pounds of weights on that steel pipe, and I would still have enough room on the ends for my hands. So I would put the weights in the middle, and I would grip on the outside. And I had this little white chair in my room, and I would sit down every single night. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to lift, and I would do 10 sets of 10 on curls. Then I would lay down on the floor, and I would like floor press it for like 10 sets of 10, and I would do some push-ups. And that later on progressed into getting a weight bench, and then my uncle gave me some weights. They weren't the actual like Olympic weights, but they were steel plates. So like, and the concrete didn't get in my eyes like the other one. That crap didn't fall off on me whenever I was trying to lift it. And I've had the bench on my parents' front porch, and I probably had 250 pounds worth of weights then.
Yeah.
So by then, I guess I was probably maybe 13, 14. Like right before I got ready to go into high school, or was going into high school, and worked out all through middle school. Got some interchangeable dumbbells, so I would do the same thing every night. Of course, I didn't do any lower body. I was just doing some bench pressing and some curls, and I figured out how to do some like rows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would do that, but then whenever I got into high school, walking into the weight room, it was like the most amazing thing ever to me. I was just like so excited to finally get some weights and like, some more stuff to use and everything. So I came in and I was already a little bit stronger than the other freshmen just because I had been working out. And then all through high school, I lifted, started playing football. I played football all through school till my junior year. That's whenever I blew my knee out. So I tore my ACL, MCL, PCL, my meniscus. I had knee surgery on that. Came back my senior year, and I played in one game. The knee started swelling really bad again, and they told me I was probably going to tear everything again if I continued to play. So that was my senior year. But that was whenever I just really dove into lifting after not being able to play anymore. That's because, I was already taking it serious, but that was whenever I really stepped it up a little bit,
Right.
But then let's see. After that, whenever I graduated, I got up. I got really fat there for a while. I was like 220 something.
Whoa, hey now.
Yeah, dude, I was eating. Got on some Burger King, and I would eat a ton of Burger King, but I would still bench press. Like that's what you do. You just like eat Burger King and bench press. Apparently, that's what Andrew still does, from what I heard on that last one.
That's right, Burger King and bench press. There's not a better combo in this world.
I talked to Michael Burleson a few minutes ago. I saw him out, and he told me, he said Andrew was not lying. He said they do have chicken nuggets at Burger King. 69. He told me to tell you that.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm not going to lie to y'all. That's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. So after that, I was still just working out, and I was lifting just to lift. And I mean, I met Steve Durham. I'm sure Timmy remembers him.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know if Andrew does, but
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was in IBP a long time ago, and he went he bench pressed equipped.
Oh,
Bench only dude, always benched in a shirt.
Maybe I do know who that is.
But he and what was the other dude's name? I think it was Allen. Can't remember his last name.
From Marion?
Yeah. He ran with Steve.
I can't remember his last name either, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, his wife, so they worked out in Marion, live in Marion. And his wife worked at a dentist office up in Spruce Pine, which is just right up the mountain from Marion. And she knew that I loved to work out, so she gave me his number because he was telling us about the competitions. And I called him one day, and he was like, yeah, they're having a meet in like 2 weeks. You should come. And it was the first one that you guys did at, let's see, what was it?
Club Fitness.
Club Fitness, that's it, yeah. Well, it used to be. That's what it was. And it was the first one you guys did outside. You remember that one underneath the tent?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I was at that one.
Were you really?
Wait, at Marion?
Yeah, underneath the tent, outside.
Underneath the tent? Yeah, I was at that one.
Was that your first meet, too?
That was my first Iron Boy meet, I believe.
Okay.
I think so. I think that was I was like 13 or 14.
What year was that? Like 2011? I was 18.
I have no clue.
Oh, goodness gracious. I bet you if I was 14, it might have been 2010? Maybe? I can't remember.
It was either 10 or 11. But
Yeah,
that was, I showed up down there and did a bench only. And I said I would never compete again after that because it wasn't that I hated it, but I got like so freaked out that I just like couldn't function hardly.
Like just lifting in front of people, or?
Yeah. That with the commands, knowing that the judges was watching me, like it just like, I mean, I'd played sports all my life, but I don't know what it was. Something just freaked me out because I walked out. I think I weighed in at like 190, and I was opening with 250 on bench. I walked out and I can't remember. I missed the rack command on my first attempt. Well, then on my second attempt, I went ahead and jumped to 275, and I did it pretty easy, but I missed the press command. So on my third attempt, there was nothing I could possibly mess up because I'd already messed up everything I could mess up. And I took my third attempt and I hit 275, and then, I took a fourth attempt and ended up doing 300. But I remember just like riding back up the mountain and telling my dad, I was like, I don't ever want to do that again. And like, like I'd won my weight class or whatever, know. And I mean, looking back on it, to be 18 and I guess pausing 300 at 190.
Yeah, that's really good.
Well, for it to be on first meet, it was okay.
Yeah.
But in my, I was like, God, I don't belong here. I need to go home. I'm done. So after I talked myself back down, Frank Beam, he was putting on, it was just like some gym meets in Morganton. And, you know, they weren't sanctioned or anything. This was really before you guys came in. So, I mean, they would do just like bench only and everything. And our gym would come down there. And I mean, we had some strong dudes. Like, our guys were very strong on bench press, that is. No one squatted or deadlifted then, like no one. I would just bench press and do a little bit of back, and that was it. So I went and I did a few of his meets, and I guess I probably went to 3 or 4 different ones that he had done down there. Well, the last one that I did down there, I come walking in, and he tells me as soon as I walked in, he was like, "Hey, we're doing a push-pull this time." And I said, "What is a push-pull?" He said, "You have to deadlift and bench press." I told him, I said, "I don't know how to deadlift. I've never." And he was like, "Well, I guess you better just start with something you know you can get." So I'm thinking, like, what the heck, you know?
Yep.
So I go out there, and I always laugh because I thought to myself, like, I'll bet you anything Frank got tired of us coming down there and beating his boys on bench only and knew that we didn't deadlift, so he thought he could get us by doing that. So that's always been my theory. I don't know that that's true, but so I remember I benched, and I benched like, it might have been like 320 or 305, 15, something like somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a look. Well, then we get on to deadlifts, and I opened up with 275. And I walked out there, and I basically did a stiff-legged snatch grip deadlift, if you can picture that.
Huh?
Because for some reason, I decided that I needed to grip the bar with basically my index fingers on the power rings. That seemed like the best spot. So I go out there, I just like rip up 275, like, you know, I'm standing there like holding it, and they tell me go down, I put it back down. I walk off, and they said, "What do you want to do next?" I said, "I don't know, maybe 315. And I put 315 on there, and I walk out there, and I grab it and just snatch it up. I'm walking off again. I can't even remember who it was, but they looked at me, and they were like, "That was pretty easy." They said, "Why don't you put another plate on there?" And I said, "Well, how much would that be?" And they told me, I said, "Well, that'd be 405. And I thought, okay, well, that sounds like a good number, so put it on there. So once again, I walk out there, and I mean, I'm gripping. I wish I had a video of this. And I mean, I was so bent over, there was no leg drop whatsoever. It was a snatch grip. But yeah, here we go, you know. So I walk out there, and I picked it up too. And I remember getting like halfway up with it, and I started like they weren't really strict on the judging there, so I started like shrugging it up, and like I didn't hitch it, but it wasn't necessarily a clean pull looking back on it. But so the first time I deadlifted, like I'd never done it before, I just pulled 405, and I remember going back to the gym later on that week, and I thought, man, I'm gonna do it again. And I got out there, and I couldn't even pick up like 365 in the gym. Looking back on it now, you know, I know it's like, hey, you just maxed out on deadlifts. It probably wouldn't be a good idea to max out on deadlifts again 3 days later.
Yeah.
So from there, I kind of got my confidence built back up and started wanting to compete again from doing those little meets at Frank's gym. And then you guys did the, which one was it? It was the one where you bench pressed in the cage in Marion. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. It's I don't think the place is there anymore, but it was like a tavern, but the tavern was also a mixed martial arts gym.
Yep.
So they're using like the tavern to pay for the gym, basically, all the food and stuff.
How did that ever go out of business? That sounds like the best place ever. But
Wait,
They want to do it big too. Like they had places for fighters to come in and to sleep and all kinds of stuff. I guess just because it's in Marion, North Carolina. I mean, that's kind of a weird spot to have an MMA gym.
it is now a Tractor Supply.
Okay.
Oh, the quick turnaround there.
Now, that'll do much better around here. We don't
So
have
was it in the octagon? Like,
Yeah,
was
dude.
thinking that? Whoa.
They wouldn't let us deadlift in it, but we bench pressed in it.
Let's bring it back.
I know. I just watched a video today of a couple lifts from that meet. I'll send you one.
Oh,
Yeah, let's just start lifting in a cage.
I think that's the best idea.
Well, anyways, go ahead, John. We kind of cut you off.
No, you're good. But then, I remember I was looking at the records, because that's what everybody does before they compete. You have to look at the records and see what everybody else is doing in your weight class, But I was looking at those, and I remember the 198 bench press, like the 198 bench only record. It was something. It was pretty high. I can't remember what it was, but it was quite a bit. Honestly.
And you're still 18, 19?
Yeah, I was still 18, 19 right there.
Okay.
So I looked at the 220 record, and it was, at the time, it was at like 330. And I thought, well, I can do 335. I can beat that. So I trained, and like, dude, my AC joints from where I bench press so often were just like ripped apart. Couldn't hardly like lift my arm up by the time the meet came around. But somehow I walked out there and I got to 335 and was able to break that bench press record whenever I was 18 or 19.
Sweet.
But from there, after I did that, I guess, I don't know, I guess I got a little overconfident and I thought, I'm going to do a full power. Like, I broke
So
that
did you deadlift that day?
No, I did not. I didn't do anything other than bench press. But after the meet, I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, I'm going to try this full power thing. And I did, I guess it was nationals of that year. It was maybe 2011 or 12. It might have been 2012.
Is that one of the ones that we ran in Concord?
Yes, it was. It was, you remember one of the last time, well, no, it wasn't the last time Greg Krotz competed, but it was the day that Greg Krotz hit Elite at 275.
Oh, yeah.
Almost 100 pounds. It would have been the day before that. And I showed up to that meet, and let's just say this. I benched 330. I squatted 335.
Nice.
Let's just say that.
All right.
And then I pulled, I think, 465. I had about 1125 total, but I squatted 5 pounds more than I benched. And, of course, I got beat. And I remember having that same thought again that I had in my first meet. I was like, God, I'm not cut out for this. Maybe I'm just not made for this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. But the truth was I had been squatting for maybe 2 or 3 months and had no idea what I was doing. Well, I was still thinking about, I don't know if I'll do another one or not. I'm horrible at this. I suck. Well, the next day, you had it broke up that weekend to where it was 198 and below on Saturday, and then Sunday was 220 and up.
Right.
I came that next day, and then I watched Greg Krotz lift, and I felt even worse about myself.
Well, I was thinking, I think Alan Fisher hit Elite the day before.
Yep, he did.
Yeah.
He did. Because I remember seeing that. And I remember standing beside him and looking at him and thinking, like, how in God's name is he so strong? Because, he was just, that kid's a freak.
Yeah, he's a little tank.
Yeah, he is. He's a beast. But I remember watching him hit it, too. And at that time, I didn't know what Elite was. I was like, what are they even talking about? Why are they making such a big deal out of this? And then the next day, I heard you guys talk about, Greg hitting Elite and everything. And I got to watch him do it as well. And I guess it would have been on that Sunday. Jason Googe, I knew him a little bit because, he lives just down the mountain from me, and he actually worked at Ingalls where I worked at whenever I was younger. He worked on the stock crew, and I worked up front, so I would see him coming in sometimes at night, and he would always come up there and talk to me.
Nice. See, I never put that together that you actually worked at the same time.
Yeah, so I knew him a little bit, but no, I didn't really know him that well, but I knew him a little. But he came over there and started talking to me, and that's whenever he started telling me that he would train with you and Keith and everybody a couple of times a week in Marion, and he invited me to come down there and lift with you guys. Because, I mean, I clearly had no idea what I was doing. I was getting ready to quit powerlifting. So I thought my one and done. I had a pretty good run at bench press, and now we're finished, But,
yep. So, if you don't have a crisis every year, then you're not doing it right.
Yep. So I came on down the mountain. I guess it was that next Thursday.
Probably.
And first thing that Keith ever said to me, he looked at me and he said, "I'm going to tell you something about the meets." I said, "Okay." He said, "It doesn't matter if you had a good day or a bad day." He said, "You think about it on Sunday, the next day after you compete. And then on that Monday," he said, "it's all wiped away and it's time to train again." So I thought, okay, well, that one's done and over with, and I truly believed that. I thought, okay, we're going to forget about it. So then I think I actually competed, maybe, was it 2 or 3 months later? It wasn't that much longer, but I kept on working Keith kept on working with me and pointed me in the right direction and reminded me to sit back into my squats and all that good stuff, or to put the bar on my back.
1, 2, big air.
Yep, that's it. I can still hear it. And, I remember at the time, the 198 record. It's crazy how far the 198s have come in the past few years, because this just blows my mind to still think about, because at that time the 198 junior, I think it was juniors, yeah, it would have been, the record for that was 12:45. Wow. So, and I remember the guy's name who had it and everything, because he is the one who beat me at nationals that time.
Gotcha.
Me in second. So I thought to myself, it would be cool if I could total 12:50 and beat his record after he beat me. And just a few months of working with Keith, I mean, I went from 11:25 to 12:50. I think I squatted 405, benched 335, and pulled right around 5, maybe 5:15 or something like that. Somebody check my math on that. I might be telling you wrong, but it was right around that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, because I hit a push-pull. I think I actually did a push-pull somewhere in between those two as well, and I finally got my deadlift on up right around 5. But then after that, I had that period of time where I was going to school.
Right.
And I was still pretty much working full time, and I was still trying to train full time, or full time, full time training. That's what I was doing. It was, that's the secret, Andrew. You got to train full time.
Dude, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week.
Yeah, you playing, man. Come on. That Bulgarian stuff. So I had a whole lot going on, and but for some reason I still wanted to compete, and I had trained for a while, and I could tell I was getting stronger. This would have been my 3rd full power meet, and the day of the meet, I was sitting there and I was wrapping my knees, and I told you this after the meet. I was sitting there and I was thinking about all the math homework I needed to do, and I was thinking about everything but lifting. I walked out there and I missed my opener. I came back and I hit it on my 2nd attempt, and then I missed my 3rd attempt. On bench, I walked out, I missed my opener, I hit it on my 2nd attempt, and then I missed my 3rd attempt. And then at that point, I was literally, that's probably the closest I've ever come to just walking out on a meet. I thought, I'm just going to leave. You know what? I'm leaving. that day I showed up and I planned on pulling maybe 525, 530, somewhere in there. And I was just so mad by the end of the day that I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do 550 on my third. I don't care. I'm just going to do it. And I hit my first attempt, got it, hit my second attempt. Then on my third attempt, threw 550 on there and just walked out there and pulled it. And then after that after I saw myself go 3 for 3 on deads, I thought, well, maybe I won't quit. You know?
Hey, this is time number 3, by the way, for anybody keeping up.
If you can see
inner battle.
And I'm gonna bring this all back around here at the end, all right?
Okay.
And I thought, well, maybe I won't completely quit. You know, so after that, I totaled 1275 that day. Well, after that, I took about a year off from competing. And I just trained. Came back in, totaled 1400 at, I don't know, probably 194. After that, I got so locked in on I'm going to hit elite right now. I showed up to my next meet and my total dropped 60 pounds because I was going for elite. It was all or nothing. So I went from 1400 down to 1360, and that is the infamous day that the baby powder got on my hands and I dropped. Mom still makes fun of me for that. Ginger, shout out to her. But it was, let's see, then the next meet after that, I came in and there wasn't but a few months in between these meets too, and I thought, well, I'm basically strong enough, so I just need to do it. And that next meet, I totaled 1,400 pounds again, but this time I only hit one squat, and I opened up with like 450, 455, something like that, and then I missed, I think it was just like 485. I missed it twice on depth. So then after that meet, you know, I didn't think about quitting this time. I sat there and I thought about it for a minute, and I thought, man, you put up a decent total and you only hit one squat. So if you can learn how to squat, you might be able to do something. So at that point, I made up my mind that anytime from here on out, whenever I show up to a meet, I'm going to take what the day gives me and I'm going to be happy with it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care. Whatever I have in me that day, that's what I'm going to do. You know, I'm not going to get numbers stuck in my head. I'm going to judge each attempt based off the last one. And if I feel like I've got something in me, I'm going to go for it. If not, then whatever, you know.
Exactly.
So then I backed up and I just started climbing the ladder. So the next meet I showed up, I think I went 8 for 9 and I missed my last squat. I think I totaled 1435 then.
Getting closer.
Yeah. And the next meet I showed up, it was in 1445. And once again, I think I missed my last squat. Was going 8 for 9. And then finally, I showed up and I hit all 3 of my squats. And then I hit all 3 of my bench presses. Then got to deads, pulled my opener. And then I had what I needed for the elite total on the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Walked out there, ripped it up off the ground. Just before I got the down command, it started coming out of my hands. I lost my balance, took a step back. Then I got red lighted. So I got to my third attempt, and it was a weight that I'd pulled before. It was 615. I'd pulled it in the gym before, relatively easy. So I literally had to like walk back there in the corner, tell myself not to quit, and sit there for a minute. And came out, and I, pulled it no problem. That was whenever I finally hit that elite number, which had been in my head for so long, you know. But then after that, I guess last time I competed, I went 9 for 9 and went 1,500. But the part that I'm going to tie in, this is just about not quitting. That's all it's about. You're going to improve. You're going to get better. Learn as you go. Learn from the last one. And you're going to get where you want to go. I mean, within reason. The only reason that I have hit anything that I have hit is because I haven't quit. And that's it. That's all it boils down to for me. It's nothing. I mean, I don't have amazing genetics or anything like that. But I have an understanding of how to train and not to give up on it.
This concludes part 1 of our interview with Jon Allen. Be sure to tune in next week to listen about Jon's training philosophy and what he has learned from owning a gym. As always, we out!
Please subscribe and thank you for listening. Be sure to follow @CheckMyTotal on Instagram for all the latest updates. Don't forget the IBP Northeastern Carolina Raw Push-Pull in Norlina, North Carolina on June 16th. For more information about the competition, please visit ironboypowerlifting.com.